Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Unquestionably Raw. Today we have two special guests. We have Terann Hilow with us, and we got Mike Morris back with us again. And Mike, I'm going to come to you first on this one. So today, Brian Scalabrine came out and said that the Celtics were going to try to trade for Klay Thompson. And here's the rumored trade. Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder, and Brooklyn's pick swap to the Celtics for Klay Thompson. And then the Warriors will trade that pick to the Sixers for Nerlens Noel. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
It sounds like a Danny Ainge brainchild to me. He likes to make crazy moves. It would get a nice two guard that plays both ways, but gets more buckets than Avery Bradley. But it would add more depth to the Warriors. Get a couple bench guys to go in there with that scoring unit, and one guy that's just primarily a defender, not begging for any extra shots or move the ball. It would be nice, but it's a dream.
Absolutely. And Steve Kerr did come out and say, he said Brian Scalabrine hasn't called him yet. So there's that. So I guess we can. And I talked to Keith Smith today, and for those who've been watching us, he does some stuff for the Celtics. He said it's just calls have been made to the Warriors, but the Warriors are not looking to move Klay Thompson. And if they did, it will take a king's ransom to get him. So you can, and then also, Mike, DeMarcus Cousins, a GM, came out and said he expects Cousins to be traded within the next month to month and a half.
I don't know, man. I've heard that a couple times over the past few years, but then seeing that dude in the Mary J. Blige boots today, he ain't going nowhere. He's staying at the house.
Yes. Terann, I'm going to come to you now. Thoughts on Klay Thompson to the Celtics?
Not happening. But you know what? It reminded me of last season. The Warriors played an April Fool's joke on Festus Ezeli, and they said, "Hey, man, you got traded," and nobody thought that was going to happen either. And then this season, he's no longer with the Warriors. So you never know. Maybe next season he won't be with the Warriors anymore. But this season, I don't think it's happening.
A little foreshadowing. Maybe. What about DeMarcus Cousins? Do you see him going anywhere?
I mean, we've been hearing that for like 5 years now. So I don't think it's happening. I don't think that's – I mean, plus you had Shaq come out and say something about it. But it's not like he was even giving like a glowing advertisement for DeMarcus Cousins coming out. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, yeah, but he doesn't have the leadership skills. Yep. Who wants him? Who's going to pay that much money? But then again, Dwight Howard got it. So
there you go.
You never know.
That's right. Gonzo, thoughts?
DeMarcus Cousins, I don't think he's going anywhere because – these rumors have popped up several times in the last few years, and I just don't think they can afford to lose him right now because he's the closest thing they have to making the playoffs. So you would probably want to, or a franchise player for that matter, that you just want to hold on to. The Klay Thompson trade, I don't think it's going to happen, but I think that if I were the Warriors, I would most definitely pull those strings. I think Klay Thompson can flourish being a shooting guard in the Eastern Conference. I think he could be a 20-point game scorer. He's a much better scorer than Avery Bradley. But I also think that Avery Bradley this year is a better shooter than we give him credit for. I think he could possibly fill in the role that Klay has, getting a lot of open shots, playing with KD and Steph. And I think adding Jay Crowder and possibly Noel, wow, you got a rim protector and another on-ball defender. That you actually improved the Warriors to me, in my opinion.
Give them a little more depth.
And making it a lot more harder to beat. So
absolutely, I absolutely think none of these things are except Cousins. I actually think he's gonna get traded, and I've said this for a while now. The Kings are the worst run franchise in professional sports, so I think they're gonna be stupid. That owner there doesn't know what the hell he's doing. I mean, this is a guy who learned the game of basketball reading, coaching his daughter's team, and the guy's stupid. He thinks it's like NBA 2K My GM or something, and that's how he's running his franchise. So I think that's what's coming. And like I said, with Kerr, what he said, Klay Thompson's going nowhere. They're not going to mess that up. I mean, we saw last night. I mean, Klay gets 30, Steph gets 30, KD gets 29. Klay Thompson starting to make shots now. Yeah, you don't want to mess that up. And he's going to play defense. Go ahead, Gonzo.
You know something though, just to add to that though, I think the reason why these rumors are coming up about Klay, and let's be honest, Steph can get 20, 30 every night consistently, even on bad nights. Same as KD. The thing with Klay is that when he's good, he's exceptional. But when he's bad, and he can be bad for a lot of games in a row. He's very
game 5, 6, and 7 of the finals.
Yes, and I think right now what they want is consistency. I think that right now, if I had to put Klay Thompson, we're just looking at right now, just so far this year. If we're going to look at consistency between Avery Bradley and Klay Thompson, right now, Avery Bradley looks like the more consistent player to me.
Absolutely. So far this year, I'm still not trading Klay Thompson though.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not trading Bradley.
No. All right, yeah. I'm gonna on to the next thing here. So we've got some teams, and two of these teams, I'm gonna say I was very high on both these teams. Hell, I had both of them in the conference finals in each of their respective conferences. So we're gonna start off with my Minnesota Timberwolves. Is it time to panic, Mike?
Nah, I think they're still young. You know, we got Chris Dunn still rounding into form. Wiggins just went off the other night. They're still getting in a rhythm because now you got Levine coming off the bench. They're finding roles and how to define them to start the season. They got time to get better, especially with Tibbs running the defense.
And I saw, what is it, Bielitsa, however you say his name. He started last night.
Yeah,
for them, but I don't think Levine played last night. I think they gave him the night off or something like that. But he wasn't in the lineup. But it did take 47 for them to beat the Lakers in Minnesota. So there is that.
Yeah,
I know the Lakers played
better than what everybody thought, though.
That's true. That is true.
As you thought in the beginning.
No, I had them almost last in the West, so I'm surprised so far.
Terann, I ain't gonna lie to you.
Terann, Timberwolves, you think they need to panic now with this 3-6 start?
I think it's too soon. Too soon to panic. I think they're still getting used to the new coach. Rubio's hurt. I just think it's too soon. I think it's too soon for all but maybe two teams right now to panic.
Okay. Gonzo, is it panic time for the Minnesota Timberwolves?
I think you can only panic if you really have really high expectations and you don't exceed those expectations, or at least meet those expectations somewhat halfway. There's no way Minnesota should even think should have had expectations they were going to be a playoff team this year. So they should not be panicking at all. Take it easy. Wait till next year.
I'm going to jump on the panic bandwagon because, as you know, I had them in the conference finals this year. Yes, I jumped on that bandwagon quick with Thibodeau. And this team just looks awful defensively. And then Towns, his numbers, like, he's not rebounding like last year. It's I don't know what's going on with him. And Wiggins, like I said, it takes a heroic effort from him to beat a Lakers team who's on a little road trip right now. So I'm panicking. I hope they can turn it around so I don't look like an asshole come the end of the season when the Timberwolves are sitting 12th place in the West. And I had them in the conference finals, upsetting all these teams. Yes, I don't want to come off as an asshole. So now, Mike, New York Knicks. Is it time to panic for the Knicks?
It's getting real close if it's not. Like, I want to hold out hope that the last of my graduating class and Melo, last star of my graduating class, I'll say that Melo has a chance to do something in the playoffs, but the way it's looking right now, they're starting off too sluggish for me. They needed to find some extra roles. Dudes just want to get it in and not be content with being inside. Like, Brandon Jennings wants to finish games, but you're playing alongside D Rose. You got to let him be D Rose. And you got games where you got Porzingis getting 27, but not playing the last 7 minutes of the game. That's kind of hard to sell to anybody in New York, much less around the country.
Absolutely. Terann, should the Knicks panic now?
I feel like they've been in panic mode for like the past 40 years.
Damn. Wow. Oh, wow.
So, I mean, they should be used to this feeling, but it's time for them to start doing some things different. And, I think it's great that they have Phil Jackson, but he's not coaching. So, that's his role. That's where we saw him excel. So I don't know. I feel like we're used to seeing this team in this position. And I think it's going to probably get even uglier before it gets better for them.
Oh, let's hope not. Let's hope not, because I had them in the conference finals as well, winning 50 games. Gonzo, do the Knicks need to panic?
No, they shouldn't. They shouldn't panic. The reason why is because if they looked at their roster before the season started, and they looked at that bench, they should have realized that they don't have enough really to be competitive in the Eastern Conference, because that bench is depleted. It's terrible, and Carmelo is no longer in his prime. You don't really have a true point guard to run the offense. Yeah, Rose is not a true point guard, but he's good. I think he can still be okay.
He's played well this year. He's been at that borderline all-star level this year. I got to give him that.
Then, like tonight, he kind of fell back a little bit. He went to 1 for 6 shooting with like 3 points.
Oh gosh, there we go.
So it's like a hit and miss with him. Panic, no, but I still think they can make the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. So they should.
Yeah. In their defense, they've had a rough schedule so far. I mean, you knew going to Chicago, you knew that was going to be a tough game for the Bulls. Even though the Knicks did pull it out, Rose and Noah going back to Chicago, that was going to be a tough one. They pulled it out. You had to play the Cavs on opening night. They had to play the Raptors the other night, so they've had a tough schedule. And I think I looked of their 6 losses. Yeah, they played the Rockets. Of like their 6, I think 4 of their 6 losses are to teams with winning records. So that is a silver lining, and it doesn't get any easier the rest of the month. It doesn't get any easier at all. So I was looking at the schedule. I wouldn't be surprised to see this team like 5-10. It looks pretty bad. So, and I think one of the problems is first, Phil, I want him to run the triangle. Now he said, I don't care about the triangle. So I think they got to figure out what they're doing. And Carmelo Anthony has to pass the ball more. Like I said last week, when they played Utah, every time he caught the ball, he was shooting, and the crowd was yelling at him, pass the ball. And this is the home crowd yelling at him. So hopefully he adjusts.
And he also eliminates a lot of the floor space. Like his spacing is real bad on the floor.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Where he puts himself on the floor, it kind of like eliminates the pick and roll possibilities.
Mm-hmm. He'll kind of go to that. He'll go to that high post and call for the ball when he should have rolled out to the corner to space the floor better. And he's calling for it, and Rose or Courtney Lee's trying to make their move, and he's clogged the paint up.
Yeah, and his defender can always leave him and come and jump in front of D Rose or Courtney Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Going to the
absolutely.
Melo's the problem, believe it or not.
Yes. Sorry, Mike. I know that's your guy. Now our next team, Mike, the Boston Celtics. I know they're 4-4 now, 5-4, but they have, defensively, I think they're 26th in the league right now, and they were one of the top defensive teams last year. What's going on with these guys?
Well, Al Horford is not your big defensive stopper. He's not your rim protector back there, and he's still learning their system, just beginning. They're going to be all right because you still got Isaiah Thomas leading your way, Avery Bradley locking down, Jay Crowder locking down. They'll be all right. It's definitely not panic time, but they're not going to be their number 2 seed like everyone thought they would be in the beginning.
No. Terann, Boston Celtics, thoughts?
I agree. I think it's too soon to panic, but they are losing to the Pelicans right now, which is not good.
It's funny you say that. Just the other day, we were talking about the Celtics, and I looked at my screen, and they were down like 35-8 to the Wizards. So it's something about when we do this.
I think a lot of the teams that were good defensively last year have dropped this year. And the only ones that have gotten better, like the Clippers and the Hawks have stayed about the same. So I think it's too soon. Give it a little bit more time. I think that if I thought they were going to win tonight against the Pelicans, they still have time. I think they'll win against the Mavericks, but then I think when they play the Warriors, they're going to lose, and then people are going to start to panic.
Gonzo, Boston Celtics.
I got a question here. Everybody says that Boston's defense has kind of had a relapse, right? Is it that the defense had a relapse, or it's just that the conference and the people they're playing against has just gotten better? Let's look at teams last year that they very well came close to beating and might have beat a couple of times, like the Toronto Raptors. DeMar DeRozan has gotten a whole lot better. I mean,
yes.
Right now, the defense that they played last year might not work against him right now because he's on a whole nother level playing.
And even they beat the Knicks the other day, but they gave up a ton of points to the Knicks. But the Knicks got better offensive. They got more offensive weapons on the team.
So that's the thing. And I never had Boston that high in the East anyway. I think a lot of times we look at coaching and we look at an acquisition of somebody like Al Horford to put him over the top. I had him anyway. If you go back and look at some of the old shows that we've done, especially the Boston review, I had him at like 4, 5, 6 on down. I didn't have him at 8. I had him like 4 through 7. I never had him at number 2. So right now, panic. No, they'll make the playoffs. They just won't be as high as everybody.
Oh yeah, they're gonna make the playoffs. So I wouldn't panic if I'm them. I mean, they're gonna make the playoffs. I didn't think they were gonna be number 2 either. I wasn't as high on them or even the Pacers. I didn't put them on this list. I probably should have. So here's an interesting one. Yes, they're 8-2, but everybody thought this team would go like 82-0, 77 wins. Golden State Warriors. Do we need to panic about these guys, Mike?
Nah, not at all. I feel like inside that organization after last year, they're not even worried about trying to set that record. They're just trying to play good basketball, create some good habits, especially bringing in KD, losing a bunch of them role players like Barbosa, your Spates, dudes like that. You got to make people find their new roles. But panic, definitely not. But 30 and 30 for Steph and Clay, 29 for KD. Draymond hooking up my fantasy team with them numbers last night. I'm not mad at them. They can do what they want. I'm good.
Very good. Terann, would you panic if you're the Warriors since they're not 10-0?
No, I wouldn't panic at all. I think that they're fine. I think that they're probably going to go to the championship again this year. And, I wouldn't panic at all. I think that people thought that they were going to, like you said, go be like 10-0. I think that they thought that you were going to see them win a whole bunch of games from the start, especially who'd they lose to?
They lost to San Antonio and they lost to the Lakers. They lost to the Spurs and the Lakers.
Yeah, so, I mean, no, I wouldn't panic at all. I think that we're going to see this team do really, really well this year.
Absolutely. Gonzo.
No panic. It's they have a new player incorporated into the lineup. You got rid of Andrew Bogut. You're trying to work with Zaza. You got guys like Looney, McCall into the lineup now. You know, you got Ian Clark playing a full season. You got a lot of new acquisitions that are acclimated to the offense now.
JaVale McGee getting some time now.
10 games is not enough time for these guys to gel over 82-game season.
No.
Perfection is early. Trust me, as I said before, NBA Finals, NBA champions, whoever they play, they're going to sweep, period.
Nice. I like it. I'm not panicking if I'm the Warriors. Like originally, before we did our little preview a couple weeks ago, I told you guys this before. I thought they'd only win 58 games this year just because I thought it would take some time. So they're actually off to a better start than I initially thought they would be. And if we all remember, Miami was 11-10 when the Big Three got together. And they got to the finals. And if not for them being lazy against Dallas, I think in Game 3, they should have won that series. So, no, you don't need to panic if you're the Warriors. And you can see they're bringing JaVale McGee in. He's giving them nice he's changing guys' shots at the rim. He's blocking shots. He's getting dunks. That's what they need from him. So that's going to help. And Mike, now on to our last team here, the Dallas Mavericks.
I don't think it's panic time for them, but I do think they need to shore up that point guard situation. When Darren's still in the mix, I don't know. He's getting a little up there for me, even though that is my class as well.
That's your boy right
holding
there.
Up. And me and Darren, I don't know, man. We ain't had a good time when we were in Kansas. I don't know. But Harrison Barnes is coming through a little better than people thought so in the beginning. Dirk is taking his time. He's enjoying himself in that later years. They'll be all right. They'll float into the mix, middle of the pack, maybe 4 or 5, and just do what they can in the playoffs. For the best.
4 or 5, Mike. You think they can get as high as 4 or 5?
I didn't get a bold prediction when y'all did the Mavs. I like to give a little bold one, 4 or 5.
I like it. See, we give the people what they want here. We got a bold prediction from Mike tonight. Dallas 4 or 5 in the West. Yes, Terann, Dallas Mavericks. Is it time to panic?
No, I don't think that they're going to have the greatest season, though. I didn't expect a lot from them this season. I think they look old. They look kind of tired, and something's up with Mark Cuban, like banning the ESPN, and something's up with that team.
He did say they could come in now. He did lift the ban. So they're allowed back in. Yes, it was 2 ESPN reporters. They're allowed back in.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have high expectations for the Mavericks this season. I don't think they're going to do that well. I wouldn't panic. I would just wait till next season.
Fair enough. Gonzo, Dallas Mavericks.
I want to say don't panic. I mean, because you shouldn't have really had expectations for Dallas like that anyway. But I think Dallas is like that new car with a lot of old broken parts. Darren Williams is he's old and injury prone. Same as Dirk. Dirk's getting old. He's getting up there. Productive, but he's having problems now. Andrew Bogut is injury prone. It's just got a lot. You have a lot of bad pieces on this team, and I think that Mark Cuban, what he's done to be successful in the past, is kind of like showing now that no longer works now in the NBA. So panic, absolutely. If you're Mark Cuban, you want to panic because you won't be sniffing the playoffs this year.
Oh,
Like he partly in that Laker mode, trying to let Dirk ride it out with that 50 mil.
Yeah.
yep.
End of that Dirk would be next.
I think I guess the only reason I would say panic is because your older players are getting hurt. Darren Williams is breaking down. We know he's had the injury history since he went to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Hell, he cursed himself when he wanted out, and he got your boy fired there, Sloan. He's been injury prone ever since then. He cursed himself. And then Dirk's getting hurt. Isn't it his Achilles, I think? And he's 38. 38 years old. She's not a spring chicken anymore. So
anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He doesn't even jump on his jumper, so we shouldn't even call it a jumper. He shoots that set shot three. So, but other than that, I mean, Harrison Barnes has been way better than he was supposed to be. I was thinking maybe 16, 17 a game. He's playing at an all-star level. Yeah, I don't think he'll make it because their record's not going to be good enough. But I guess it depends on how you look at it. If you're worried about injuries, then yes, panic. If not, give it time. Build around Harrison Barnes and see what you can do. They'll have cap space, and they can put it together a much better team than they've got now. All right, Mike. Now we're going to go to our rankings here. First, we're going to start off with our top 5 rookies. We're going to count down from 5 to 1. So, Mike, you are first.
I don't know, man. The rookies, they're just not showing me a whole lot this year. You know
what
I mean?
And if you don't have 5, that's okay. I struggled putting 5 together.
Yeah, because they're just not really giving me a whole lot. Like the big fellas that Phoenix drafted, they're banging a little bit, but they're not as consistent as I want them to be to give them some top 5 love. But I go McCall with the 3rd spot because he's making some big plays out there in Golden State, trying to fit in. Ingram's doing better than I thought he would. I thought he'd ride that pine a little bit longer. 2 spot. And Embiid, people forget
that's
Embiid's still a rookie.
Yeah. Joel Embiid is the easy one. I think that's going to be anonymous.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
they can give him more than 20 minutes a game.
Hey, that's not his fault. That's ownership. They're putting that minute restriction on him. They need to lift that shit and let him play 30, 35 minutes a game. I know he wants to. Let him play.
Put enough money into him to go.
Man, this dude's numbers are insane. How are you averaging 19 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks a game, and you're playing 22 minutes? Oh, and by the way, he leads the league in 3-point shooting. Yeah. And he's got Hakeem post moves. This dude is crazy. He's the franchise player, not Ben Simmons. You build around Embiid. Just hope he stays healthy. Terann, who do you got in this rookie list? I know it's tough.
It's tough. There's really not a lot of standout guys. Jaylen Brown, Chris Dunn's okay. I like Malcolm Brogdon. I didn't know he got his master's degree. He's 23 and he already has his master's degree in public policy or something like that. So I like him for personal reasons, actually. But
that's fair. There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, you can choose about. There's obviously one. Everybody's gonna have the one Embiid one, but you could choose just about anybody and fill in the rest.
That's about it, I think, for me. I'm not really feeling the rookie class.
Yeah, and Embiid's really not really a rookie. He just hasn't played his first 2 years.
So you're gonna pull Blake Griffin, get rookie of the year 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But hey, it counts. So I'm putting him there. Gonzo, who do you got?
At 5, I have Marquise Chris from Phoenix. At 4, I have Malcolm Brogdon. At 3, I have Dario Saric. 2, Jaylen Brown, and 1, Joel Embiid easily.
Okay. Nice. Okay. I put my guy on here, number 5, just because he had a couple good games this week. He's got some buckets. Buddy Hield. I got Jaylen Brown 4. I put Ingram at 3. He's starting. I agree with what Mike said. I got Saric at 2, and of course Joel Embiid at 1. Mike. Now we're gonna go into our MVP rankings here, 5 to 1. Who do you got?
Just because you always got to put him in there. I'll give LeBron number 5.
Damn, that low?
Yeah, My thing is when you're thinking most valuable, you got a guy with Kyrie and Kevin Love. Kevin Love giving you a double-double. Kyrie can get you 30. And LeBron even said he should be in the MVP conversation. Let
me ask you this then before you continue here. Because when I did my list, I go on the criteria of how the voters typically do it. I'm not doing it how I would do it. Yeah. What I'm doing is how the vote. Is that how you're doing it, or are you just doing who you think is the real MVPs?
I'm doing it like I want to. I don't like
I just wanted to make sure. See, now that's fine.
Yeah. After After Iguodala got Finals MVP over Steph, I've been bugged out. And unanimous MVP last year with dudes getting numbers like that, I just don't see it. My thing is, if you got two other All-Stars at the top of their game playing with you, how valuable are you? Because without you, they can still make the playoffs if they're All-Stars, if they're at the top of their position. Your team will still make the playoffs. But if you take Kawhi away from the Spurs, they're not going to be top of the West, no matter how good that system is. That dude's balling. You take Lillard away from the Trailblazers, they're garbage.
Although I will say, without Steph last year, I think the Warriors fall way to the bottom of that playoff ladder. Steph is a lot more important to that team, I think, than people think.
Yeah, but I give him he had a spectacular season, but unanimous though. Dame Lillard carried a team full of bums and nobodies to the playoffs. And
he didn't have add CJ McCollum. He's not a bum.
Thank you.
He made CJ McCollum. McCollum basically lived with that dude in the gym.
Come on now, CJ McCollum was nasty when he was in college.
McCollum will tell you right now, I follow Dame Lillard everywhere. He made me the guy I am. He'll tell you right on camera, straight up and down. Without D Lillard, McCollum is sitting the pine still. He didn't get that same pub. You take Lillard off them Trailblazers, they are lottery, probably second to last.
That team should be lottery as it's constructed right now.
Yes, but Dame Lillard is putting in.
So Lillard is on your. So he's on your list then.
Yeah, I got him right behind Harden.
Okay.
Harden number 1, Lillard 2, Kawhi 3, Westbrook 4, LeBron 5.
Nice. Dang, your list is a lot different than mine. Terann, who do you got?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Hold on, I got it. Can you hear that?
I don't hear. I hear you, but I don't hear anything in the background.
Sorry, my hotline was blinging. So I have Steph Curry at number 5, LeBron James at number 4, probably Damian Lillard at number 3, Russell Westbrook at number 2, DeMar DeRozan at number 1.
Nice. I can't knock the DeRozan pick either. I can't knock that. Yeah. He's on my list. Gonzo.
At 5, I have Kevin Durant. Number 4, I have Kemba Walker. Number 3, I have LeBron James. 2, I have James Harden. And number 1, I have DeMar DeRozan.
Nice. Okay. See, when I did my list here, I'm doing his voters. So James Harden is not on my list, but it's because the Rockets are 5-4. If they continue, then they're 7th, or he's not winning MVP. That's how I'm going to do it. I got Chris Paul 5. I got Kawhi at 4, DeRozan 3. I got Curry at 2, and LeBron James at 1. I know Curry will never win it. There's voter fatigue, and he's not winning it this year. But damn it, he's second on my list, and it's my list. So that's how it's going to be.
Wow. But look at the team he got with him.
That's okay. LeBron James won an MVP with Bosh and Wade. Curry can win an MVP with Durant.
I didn't want him to win that MVP.
That's okay. He still won. He still won it.
KD's the best player on that team.
You can have an argument on the same team who's the MVP. They're not.
I'm going to say this. You notice the Warriors started playing better when Curry started playing like Steph. Now they've played better. Let KD. You can play the secondary role. That's one of the things
I'm worried about with them, man. Because when KD going off, he's going off. Nothing's really jumping. But when Steph hit 2 threes, he might be 0 for 9. He 2 in a row. The place go nuts. That's Steph.
You know why though? Because look at the shots that he hits. You saw that Pelicans game.
That's true, but KD.
I don't know if y'all do. I know Gonzo, you've got League Pass. Does everybody else have League Pass?
Yep.
Man. You got to watch. I watched that whole Pelicans game. Like I said, I watch all the Warriors games. Well, now we're gonna get into our top 10 teams. Mike, who do you got? Starting from 10 to 1.
10 to 1. I got the Bulls at 10. Hornets at 9, Jazz at 8, Trailblazers, Raptors, Spurs, and Hawks. They could flip-flop for all I care. They basically the same. Warriors at 3, Clips at 2, Cavs at 1.
Nice. Damn, our list is kind of close. Terann, who do you got?
Mine's close too. I've got the Rockets at 10, Jazz at 9, Bulls at 8, Thunder at 7, Blazers at 6, Raptors at 5, Spurs at 4, Warriors at 3, Clippers at 2, Cavs at 1.
Oh, no love for the Hawks.
No love.
Is it because of Dwight?
No, you know what? Actually, I don't really care so much about that. I don't know. I'm just never really that impressed by the Hawks. They'll never make my top 10.
I see where you're going with this. Like, when they won 60 games, no one was afraid of them.
Yeah,
basically.
That's fair. That's fair. Gonzo. Who we got in the
10.
top?
At number 10, I got the Bulls. Number 9, I got the Utah Jazz. Number 8, I got the Portland Trailblazers. 7, Charlotte Hornets. 6, San Antonio Spurs. 5th, Atlanta Hawks. 4th, Toronto Raptors. 3, the Golden State Warriors. 2, the Cleveland Cavaliers. And number 1, the Los Angeles Clippers.
Damn, Gonzo, our list is damn near identical, and in the number too. I got the Bulls at 10, Portland at 9, Utah 8, Charlotte 7. I got the Spurs 6, Raptors 5, Hawks 4. I got Golden State 3, the Clippers 2, and the Cavs 1. So does everybody? Some of you think the Clippers are better than the Cavs right now? If they were to meet in the finals, who wins?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Say what you want. If they were meeting the finals, I think it will probably go 6 or 7 games. But I honestly think that the Clippers can beat the Cavaliers.
You trust the Clippers. You know what happens every single year.
I know.
And Terann, I know you're a Rockets fan, but the Clippers cost that more than the Rock. That was an all-time choke job by the Clippers. It happens every year.
But this is the reason I say that, though. And this is the reason I say that. The reason why the Clippers seem to choke is because the West is that much harder when it comes to playoff time. You have a lot better teams to go through. Cleveland doesn't play anybody till the finals.
Mm-hmm.
They have no competition. That's like saying right now, if the Hornets were to play, not Hornets, but the Rockets were to play Cleveland in the finals, I'm putting my money on the Rockets. They're more battle tested. I'm sorry. No.
Wow.
You think the Rockets would beat the Cavs? Is that what you just said?
I believe
he would put his money on the Rockets.
Huh.
If you look at last year's games, if you look at the games last year and you saw
I will
Dwight Howard
bet you on that. I will take
James Harden played Cleveland really, really well. Without Dwight Howard, they actually beat him last year.
But can he do it consistently?
Yeah, I believe they could.
If it goes there, I'll bet you.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Yes, we got it on video. It'll be on the audio when we upload it to iTunes. Everybody heard that. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Something. Cleveland benefits from a weak Eastern Conference, and they benefit from a lot of officiating help. Like if you watch any of the Cleveland games, and I watch a lot of Cleveland League Pass, is just like it's really opened up a whole other world for me.
LeBron James just running guys over like a damn tank, and it's a blocking foul.
It's a blocking foul, and Kyrie, I think he has great handles. But if you watch Kyrie Irving's handles, he's traveling every time he's dribbling. He's picking the ball off the ground. He's taking steps before he even puts the ball on the floor.
So he's doing his 8-step Euro move like Harden does.
You saw you guys saw the dunk when he split the double team and dunked?
Yeah.
He took 4 or 5 steps and no call. And that was all.
NBA. He's getting the superstar calls.
But see, that's my thing with the NBA. There shouldn't even be a superstar call. They call the calls the way they're meant to be called. If the no-name guy on the bench is traveling, call it. If LeBron is traveling, call it. That's why people say the league sometimes is rigged, because the calls aren't being called for the same for everybody. They're being called for certain people. That shouldn't be fair.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Now, before we go on to a couple, I'm going to talk about 4 games here on the schedule this week. But before we do this, I want to give Gonzo the floor here because he's been saying this was going to happen. I want you to give your Russell Westbrook rant and tell everybody why you were right about him, the numbers, and why he's not an MVP. Because we've seen they've lost 3 in a row.
He's so fraudulent. I keep telling everybody this. Like, first of all, they played Philly, Phoenix, and the Lakers the first 3 games. Even the Lakers weren't even really their offense wasn't even really together after 3 games. They go up 3-0. I beat the Clippers by 2. And everybody's talking about Russell because he put up all these numbers. The game, I think he had like 51 points. He was like 17 for 44 shooting, which is like 0.386%. That's like 38% shooting. That's not good. Not to mention, if you look at his bench players, he wasn't. When you got guys like Steven Adams and you got guys like Enes Kanter, who even on days that Russell Westbrook is ball hogging, he can still get 10, 11 points. That means you obviously need to use these guys a lot more because his numbers are more efficient than yours look right now. Pass the ball. Share the ball. Get these guys involved. These guys are offensive threats. Steve Adams is not only just an offensive threat. The guy can play defense.
But Gonzo, here's what's going to happen now. You're going to say that argument. I'm just going to play devil's advocate here because that's my job. So they're going to tell you, well, he gets like 10 assists a game. What are you going to say when they come at you with that?
Most of those assists are like on accident. Like if you look like James Harden assist, he's throwing to somebody to set them up to get over. You see it. Russell Westbrook is one of those. I'm going to bull myself into the lane, and he thinks it's going to get blocked, and he just throws it up in the back quarter, throw it off in the corner, and it might skip off somebody's fingertips and bounce to a wide open shooter, and they make it.
The Derrick Rose passes.
Yeah. And so looking at Westbrook is very deceiving. Looking at those numbers, you actually like for him to average as many points as he has, rebounds and assists. I think he has like one of the lowest usage ratings in the league. That means what? Because most of the things he's doing on the court is not really benefiting the team. Most of the time when they're down because of him.
and those crazy pull-up threes are still there.
Not to mention he has games where he has 8 turnovers, 10 turnovers. He's getting almost double digit in turnovers in most of these games.
So he's averaging almost a quadruple double then if you throw in the turnovers.
Like I said, look, I think he's a talented player, but I think that's one reason why Kevin Durant ended up leaving that team because he realized he could not win with Russell Westbrook. He would have stayed in OKC, with a lot of money, very miserable, and he would never get a chance to even sniff a championship playing with Russell Westbrook.
I actually totally agree. Even before they got rid of James Harden, I always said if I was going to trade anybody on that team, I would have traded Russell Westbrook because he's the one who's so eager to be a star. He's not really about winning. He's about stat stuffing and showing off. I said James Harden and Kevin Durant make a championship team. Those two guys together. And they would have got more for Russell Westbrook at that time too.
Yes, they would have.
Good.
That's
all right. Good. Yes. All right, Mike. I'm gonna talk about. We're gonna start off tomorrow. We got the Raptors and the Cavs. Who do you got in this one?
I'm gonna go with the Cavs, regardless, just because I know DeRozan is on a great tear. He's getting it in like D Wade when he came back from the 2012. But LeBron and Kyrie are on point. They're getting consistent minutes out of guys off the bench. The other day, you had 2 dudes, but Channing Frye had 20. You're getting minutes from the last person off the bench coming in playing the whole fourth quarter. Kyrie and Kevin Love didn't play the fourth, and they still got the dub. It's just consistent role play like that. And then against Kyle Lowry and DeMar putting it up, you don't know what you're getting out of your center spot. They going 3 deep at the center spot most nights.
Man, hey, you know what though? Valanciunas can ball. That dude has game. They just don't use him. I'm convinced they don't use him right. And then he sits in the fourth quarter. I don't think he played the entire fourth quarter against the Knicks the other night. I was watching it like, he's on my fantasy team, so I and I like watching some of the Knicks game. I'm like, where's Valanciunas? Why is he not out there?
I know they were talking about like saving his minutes because he had some heavy minutes last year, but also you going with the rookie pedal and Nogueira coming off the injury.
Now Nogueira did step up though. I got to give him that. He did step up and block some shots against the Knicks. He actually played well.
Yeah, but that's the Knicks. That's not LeBron coming down the lane.
That's true. And I think Porzingis had to sit because he was in foul trouble, so he didn't have to deal with Porzingis. And one time Nogueira, I think Porzingis got it, blew right by him, and went baseline and dunked it. Yeah. So there is that.
Sit out there with K Love and Channing Frye, you're gonna get abused into.
Same story. Although he's not gonna have to worry about Frye putting it on the floor though. And Kevin Love's not going to put it on the floor that much either. Porzingis can go by you and he can cross you up.
Yeah, he's going to stretch that out. He's not going to be blocking them shots.
Yeah, that's a different matchup. Porzingis is a whole nother animal. Terann, who do you got? Raptors or the Cavs tomorrow?
Cavs, definitely Cavs.
Not a fan of the Raptors. Not high on them.
No, I like the Raptors. You guys know I like DeRozan. He's my number one MVP pick. But I just think the Cavs are at home. And at this point, I think that they're the stronger team right now.
I totally agree. Gonzo.
I'm going to go. The last game was close, I think, in Toronto. I think they're in Cleveland this time, right?
Yeah, they're in Cleveland.
Okay, Cleveland this time. Okay, I'm I think I'm gonna go with Cavs, double digits. One thing that's holding Toronto back, and I've said this before, and this is the reason why you don't see Valanciunas excel as properly as you think he should be, is because of Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's the problem on that team. He's very inconsistent. It's almost like DeRozan, and if you watch the first few games, DeRozan and Valanciunas kind of propel their games to another level. I don't see that in Kyle Lowry. It's like almost like he's the same Kyle Lowry from last year, and like playoff Kyle Lowry. He had one game, I think he hit like 5 threes, and I forgot what team that was they played against. He did good in that game, but you haven't heard much of him this year. He's just not a star. He's kind of like one of those guys who's an all-star by default. There's just nobody else to pick.
He's an all-star by default.
But I've always said I thought Valanciunas could be an 18-10 guy. If they had good point guard play, I would.
He is 18.
Yeah, I mean, that's what. Yeah, I mean, if they had a point guard,
Man,
Toronto would be one of those teams that will be competing with Cleveland every year if they had good point guards.
So swap Kyle Lowry and CP3, and you got a championship contender.
I'm telling you, man. I'm saying yes. If that was to happen, I'm talking about you just put Toronto over the top because now you got a pick and roll game with Valanciunas. You got defensive players in Demar Carroll. You got defensive play. Valanciunas is not a terrible defender. You got I forgot the other guy. You got Nogueira. You got defense all on the bench. You got good backups in Corey Joseph, Terrence Ross, and now you got a mid-range game in DeRozan that's deadly. That makes you hard to beat.
And he gets to the foul line.
Yes, he goes to the foul line double digits almost every night.
Yeah, I think he's leading the league in free throw attempts right now,
and leading the league in scoring. You mean to tell me you can't be number one in the East to actually compete against the Cleveland Cavaliers? If they had good point guard play, then we're talking about a totally different Raptors team.
I actually agree. I think Kyle Lowry is very overrated. That's me. And when Byron picked him as the 11th best player in the league, I was kind of shocked. I know it was Byron's list, but then Bleacher Report came out with their rankings a couple weeks ago. They had Kyle Lowry at 11, so maybe Byron and Bleacher Report were on the same page on that one. But I think the Cavs are going to win. They're just a better team. So that's what I'm going with. Now, Mike, Bulls and Blazers. I believe that's tomorrow night I think it's on NBA TV tomorrow night.
I'm going to go with the Bulls on that one, no matter where they are. Lillard is going to get it in. He's going to do his thing, but McCollum actually got to guard D-Wade. And then Jimmy Butler's still going to be Jimmy Butler. You got Lopez sitting back there in the paint, rebounding the rock. Rondo running the rock. It's just going to be a totally different game because you see those games where them bum role players for the Trailblazers got to match up with somebody, and you see the differences. Who's going to stop Jimmy Butler?
And the Bulls got some offense off the bench with McBuckets and Nico. And Cannon's starting to make shots amazingly. Not a big fan of his, but he's looking good out there. So they got some pieces off that bench, and that's why I think it's going to help the Bulls this year. Their floor spacing is all on the bench because that starting lineup is some of the worst floor spacing I've ever seen in my life. That is awful. But Jimmy's shooting like 43% from the three-point line, so we'll see if that can continue. We'll see if it can continue.
They've got to get 50 for them to win.
Yeah. Terann, who do you got? Bulls and Blazers.
Blazers.
Oh, going with the home team.
I just want to go against you.
Nice. Gonzo.
We can trash talk on Twitter all night.
Yeah. and Gonzo's in Chicago. I'm just outside of Chicago, so we can't watch it on it. We got to watch it on regular TV. But you got to love Stacey King and Neil Funk. You got to love Stacey King and the Funk Man. Gonzo, who do you got?
Wow, I've been pretty hot on these predictions lately. So
you have, man. You kind of have.
Man, I've made like the last like 8 or 9 in a row.
So you know what? So what this means to everybody when you're making your bets, I don't know if you're playing the line or if you're playing just pick a team to win. Listen to Gonzo. Don't listen to me. I've been off the last couple times. I don't want to be responsible for anybody losing money.
The Bulls are traveling west. Kind of scares me.
It's their first game. It's their first game though. They had last night off. They had tonight off, so they've had some rest.
Yeah, but some with that time schedule when Chicago goes west, they always kind of mess up those first few games. Like last year when they went on a road trip, and I think they played like the Lakers and they played like Golden State, like all in that 1 week. I'm going to go with Portland. They're at home. I think that the young guys are going to run the old guys off the floor, like Brook Lopez. He won't be able to keep it with Plumlee, Harkless. Nobody can stick Dame Lillard on that team. I don't care how good of a defender Jimmy Butler is. He can't stop Dame Lillard.
Mm-hmm.
CJ McCollum, I think he's stepping up to being a legit all-star. I'm going to go with the Blazers by 4.
Okay. Oh, he's giving us a number too. Nice. I am going to take the Bulls in a close one. I think it's actually going to be pretty high scoring, like in the one between like 105 and 110, be like a 3-point game. I think Nico and Doug are going to be huge off the bench and make shots, and I think that'll be the difference because you never know what you're going to get from the Blazers with Allen Crabbe off that bench. He's hit or miss. He's going to get you 20 or he's going to get you 5. You got him on your fantasy, Mike.
Right after last night, drop that.
Oh, man, shoot! I hope you're going to start. I'm matched up with you this week. I only had Curry for 3 games last week. I need him to play a 4-game week. I'd have won last week if I had that.
Yeah, you got busted on that. That was fucked up.
Man, yeah. It happens, though. So our last game, we're going to talk about Warriors and the Celtics Friday night. Who do you got, Mike?
I'm going to stick with Warriors. It's hard to go against them. Steph getting hot. Clay finally getting out of that slump. Starting the season off 16%, but that's in the past. KD still getting 29 like it's nothing. Draymond getting comfortable again. I just don't trust that Celtics roster like that just yet. Isaiah can get 20 all he want. Horford can get whatever numbers, his little middle of the line joints, but Jay Crowder not going to get it in. Avery Bradley got to work extra hard with Steph. It's just going to be a long night.
Terann, who do you got? Although I think you did make the prediction earlier. I think you said it.
Warriors, yeah. I think the Warriors are going to win.
Yes, you did talk. Yeah. All right, Gonzo, who do you got?
This is easy. The Warriors by 20. Blowout, period.
Nice. I am actually going to go against all of you and say Boston. I only say it. Last year, both games were extremely close. The Boston did win in Golden State, and in the first one, I think went double overtime. It's a tough matchup. They play up and down, and those really fast teams seem to give the Warriors problems from time to time. So I actually think the Celtics are going to pull this one out. I think you're going to see a game like 125, 121. I think it's going to be really high scoring. No defense is going to be played in this one at all.
Come on, man.
So
I got Kevin Durant this year. This will be totally different.
I have Kevin Durant, but I still think I'm going to go Boston. They're going to be, and every time the Warriors play, they get the best. Shot from every team they play against. Look at the Suns. The Suns have played them tough this year. Everybody gets up for this team. So I think that the Celtics are going to give them a tough one. I don't think a blowout at all. I think it's going to be close. I could be wrong on the win-loss, but I think it's going to be really close. It's a tough matchup for the Warriors. That speedy Isaiah Thomas gives them all kinds of problems. And you bring Smart off the bench to play some defense. It's going to be a tough matchup. Is Crowder back for this? Is he going to play in this one?
I have no idea.
We're going to have to find out because I know. Is Horford going to be back? We don't know. The concussion more severe than we think. So hopefully they're both at full strength. But I'm going with the Celtics. But that is going to wrap it up tonight. I want to thank Mike and Terann for coming on with us tonight. Thank you so much. Absolutely. We got to get you to come back on again.
Oh, I will for sure. Anytime.
Yes. Outstanding. So what we got to do now, that's what we try to do here. We want to give the people what they want, give them a good time. But now, tell the people where they can find you at.
Who, me?
Yes, you, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff.
You can find me anywhere. I'm like Carmen Sandiego. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, at Terann Hilow. And it's phonetically incorrect, so. It spells all weird. I'm not going to spell it out.
No worries. Mike, it's been a while since you've been on. Let the people know where they can find you at.
On Twitter, it's at HC_Coach Mo. That's about it for me. I stay low key.
And he's not on Twitter that much either.
Mm.
Got to stay off that social media stuff, right?
Yeah, season time, man. We focused in, grind hard, play harder.
Absolutely. Do any of your players follow you on there?
Oh yeah, man. I got a couple of my D1 guys following me. Got some of these Houston hitters following up. Shoot, what Jimmy Hicks still following, Xavier Wheeler, Miller Cop, dudes like that, man. We're getting it in.
Nice. Well, for everybody out there, remember if you're watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe and the like button, please. And on iTunes, all you got to do is go on to iTunes podcast, search Unquestionably Raw podcast, and you will find it'll pop right up. It's the only one on there and last week we did hit the #1 spot on the Sports and Recreations podcast. So hopefully we can continue to keep this up and get more downloads. So everybody pass it on to your friends, please. We would really appreciate that. But until next time, which will be Wednesday, we'll be back Wednesday at 7 Eastern. So until next time, we will see you later.